All right, we are live.
Hello and welcome.
I'm Reagan.
And I'm Haley.
And we are Andromeda Coast. We are a synth pop, synthwave, retro futuristic band, but we've also started our podcast here, which we're calling Even Stranger Things. And so today we're going to talk about some very strange things, which are politically incorrect wedding vows. And we're going to react to them and grade each other to see how we're doing so far 6 years in. So by all accounts, this is a very volatile, dangerous thing to do. A lot of people probably wouldn't recommend, but we're going to do it for hopefully entertainment value. So
yeah, hopefully this is entertaining. Yeah, I got thrown off because I thought we were doing a countdown.
Oh, nope. Never said doing a countdown. So never listen.
Do I get points taken off my grade for that?
Is this what typical marriage squabble complaint that people have?
Which you can never relate to. Yeah, we also have Caspian.
Yes.
He's eating. So if you hear weird noises, the baby, not.
Yeah, how old is he now?
Oh gosh, how old is he? Oh, it's 8 weeks.
8 weeks. So pretty brand new. So
yeah.
All right, hopefully everyone can hear us. Okay, I probably should have pulled up the live stream. But
probably should have. Yeah.
So we're also a band, so we're trying to get music done. So we're hoping to have some new music coming out pretty soon. So we're working on getting music done. We got so much songs that are like half finished. So.
It's partly my fault because the vocals that we're trying to get recorded they're waiting on me. So I've had some we had a baby and 3 other children, so 4 children total. So we have and we started homeschooling. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot. But we're also trying to just do it because they say that there's no perfect season to do anything.
And I'm looking for a new job. And trying to keep the business. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, but we decided to add even more by doing a live show because we're insane and might be stupid. Whatever. We decided. So anyway, all
right, so I guess we'll get right into these politically incorrect wedding vows then. Hopefully we'll have more music here soon. But anyway.
I must confess, I barely remember saying these at the altar. I vaguely remember saying them.
Right, I know we read through them in the fall. We got married in the spring, so I remember we had them for a long time. So we were trying to say. Actually, we read them to each other back then.
Before
we did. The wedding. So it's not like we didn't know what we were saying. We knew what we were saying. On the day of the wedding.
On the day. I don't remember saying this just because we
had these pictures. So you're the one that found these.
These were part of.
We didn't write them ourselves.
No, we can't take credit for them. We thought about writing our own vows, but I didn't know what all I wanted. I kind of knew what I wanted to say, but then when I found these, I was like, "Oh, this is it!" And so there was a wedding planner.
Modern wedding vows. I will try and love you for as long as I feel like it.
Until the most recent ick comes along and I no longer want you. Yeah, that would be accurate. Not for us, for modern.
Yes. When you think about people writing their own wedding vows, that's what you think of.
Not to be a downer for people who do write their own wedding vows, but
we're aforementioned.
Okay, anyway, so we are taking somewhat of a judgmental tone here.
Only if you have wedding vows like what I just described.
Okay. So anyway, there was this wedding planner that we used that was from a company called Doorposts. That my family's used materials for years, and they had this wedding planner that was really, great. And in there, they had samples of different wedding vows, and they give the traditional ones. It was like, here's what you can do, gross, no, don't want that. And they had say what they were. Yeah, you should. This is the first time we've done this live, so we're still remembering how to do things. Oh, that's a good post. if a man doesn't treat his wife right, I don't want to hear him talk about Christianity.
It's a different topic. Right.
Yeah, bit of a different one. But anyway, so yeah, these were sample 5. This was the 5th one, and they were the last vows in the wedding planner book, and it was alternate vows taken from scripture. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are perfect." So let's see, the description is the following vows are longer and more complex than the typical wedding vows, but they provide an excellent example of a bride and groom using the language of scripture in their vows. Parts of this example could be used independently or in connection with traditional vows to tie your wedding vows into the word of God. And so I don't even think we didn't edit these at all, 'cause once we read them, we're like, "This is it. These are vows, and these are perfect." And I mean, yeah, they're really long, so you're like, "Oh my gosh, you have to uphold these for, like, forever."
At least a couple of years.
At least a couple years.
All
Unless
right.
someone got ideas.
So I guess I should go ahead and read mine then. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll just read them, and then we'll should probably just read straight through, and then we can go back and read and break down.
Yeah.
They can understand what exactly is all there.
Yes.
All right. So then I have my name. I, Reagan Ram, covenant before God and man to you, Haley Long, I guess at the time.
Mhm.
So that. And then to be your loving husband and to lead you, to protect you, and provide for you in the fear of the Lord. I vow to love you as my wife, even as Christ also loved the church. To lay down my life for you, to wash you with the water of the word, and word is capital S there. To love you as my own body, and to nourish and cherish you even as the Lord does the church. To render unto you the affection due you, knowing that I do not have authority over my own body, but you do. To dwell with you according to knowledge, giving honor unto you as unto the weaker vessel, and living together with you as heirs together of the grace of life. You alone will be my delight as the wife of my youth. I will fight for you, for our sons, for our daughters, and for our household. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me. I will be yours in times of plenty and in times of want, in times of sickness and in times of health, in times of joy and in times of sorrow, in times of failure and in times of triumph. I pledge to you my life as a loyal and faithful husband. And a lot of these are taken from actual scripture passages. So, spoiler alert: if you don't know, we are Christians. So,
Yeah,
really
I guess, yeah. You over here?
yeah.
You come up.
So, yeah. So right away, politically incorrect is the line where it says, "To be your loving husband and to lead you and
Even
for that covenant."
covenant
Yeah.
before God and man, because right? A covenant, that's supposed to be unbreakable.
Right. It's not a contract. I hear
It's
a lot of
not a
people today that
contract.
marriage is a contract, which is what it's been turned into when you've basically marriage kind of was abolished when no fault divorce was
Mhm.
made legal. And it's just
Yeah.
kind of been watered down more and more since then. So you don't so marriage kind of doesn't really exist anymore in that sense, because
Yeah,
it's just
not in a sense, not in a biblical
right in
sense.
the biblical sense for hundreds thousands of years it was a covenant, not a legal contract, which is what it is today. Else on that?
Okay, I wasn't sure you were gonna keep going. So yeah, so you're locked in.
Right, yeah.
It's politically incorrect. So many people just are like,
Right. Divorce isn't an option. Right. That's kind of wild for a lot of Christians. A lot of Christians don't really believe that today. Um, but I mean, Jesus talks about it how it's not wasn't intended for anyone to get divorced. It's not really how God intended things. So you're not supposed to divorce isn't supposed to be on the table. It's not really supposed to be an option. Um, right? People might say, well, what about this exception? What if there's abuse or something? Well, obviously, if there's like abuse, you leave, you get distance,
Mhm.
but you would still be married in that sense, and so you shouldn't get remarried to someone else.
Yeah, that I can't remember, is that in First Corinthians where it talks about that? Or is that oh, wait, is that one of Paul's letters where he talks about, your spouse doesn't believe the same and wants separation, then you are free to go.
Right, if they
But
don't,
you're not it's I
you're not
mean, it
supposed to remarry.
specifically yeah, you're not supposed to remarry unless the spouse dies. Death is
Mhm.
the only thing that breaks that contract. That's death. And it even says, like, Jesus says to the Pharisees, I think it's the Pharisees, and,
Mhm.
one of the gospels,
Matthew
all the
19.
gospels, where it's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he said Moses provided for divorce as a concession to your hard-heartedness, but it is not part of God's original plan. I'm holding you to the original plan and holding you liable for adultery. You divorce your faithful wife and then marry someone else. So, that's this is the first one that came up.
I'm like, I don't remember that
Here's
language,
anyway,
but okay.
3 is he said to them, "Because of your hardness, Moses, but from the beginning, this has not been the way. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife." And then there's some disagreement about how this is translated because it says except for immorality. Some
Mhm.
people say it should say even in the case of immorality,
Yep.
even if your spouse is unfaithful and marries, and you still marry someone else, you're committing adultery. Um, so anyway, the point is, yeah, you're not supposed to be getting divorced for any reason.
Which a lot of people don't wanna hear that, 'cause especially 'cause I feel like a lot of people get into marriages and then down the road, they're like,
Right, and the clue is in the
"I"
next passage
yeah, what's that?
first.
Yeah, a lot of people get into this idea that, well, if it doesn't work out, then I have an out. People go in and they have an out. Now, a lot of people go in thinking, I am gonna go to the end. But then along the way, people get happy, then it's
Yes, there's this, after Jesus told it to the disciples, they said to him, "If such is the case, then it's better not to marry." That clues you in right there. Like that was their response. Yeah, a lot of people have that response. If that's what marriage is, that he wants to get married. And Jesus is like, yeah, not everyone can receive this. Not everyone can handle that. So yeah, so it just shows how serious it is. So,
yeah, marriage is a serious
mhm.
thing, and I think it's lost that I don't wanna say somberness, but maybe so soberness.
Thank you.
The sanctity of marriage and the soberness that you need to have to make
Right,
this.
and why is it this way? Because the whole point of marriage is there's a lot of reasons for marriage, um, but the number one reason is supposed to be a picture of the relationship between Christ and the church. All right, the church is referred to as the bride of Christ. So obviously, there's divorce going on, then that's getting an incorrect theology and
Mhm.
incorrect picture of our relationship to God. We are his disciples. So that's why marriage is set up that way.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's that, and so, yeah, and then the very next line is politically incorrect too. So it says that to be your loving husband and to lead you and protect you. So obviously, feminism, the whole idea that the husband being his wife is not correct, in protecting right women are strong, independent, they can protect themselves.
The boss.
You can't
Yes.
have that damsel in distress or anything like that.
Oh, no.
That's funny though. You have the whole like red pill movement, which is like pushing back against this, which is like a non-Christian approach to kind of return a little bit of a return to the traditionalist mindset.
Yeah, somewhat. There's aspects
They
of it.
identify
There's
a lot
different
of correct.
niches.
They identify real problems, but they don't have the best solution.
No.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, I would say it's important to finish the sentence of this
Right, 'cause there is a comma.
and provide for you. So it's to lead you, to protect you and provide for you in the fear of the Lord. So it's not like you're coming at this as this like dominating,
Right.
like
Because I
overbearing overlord.
don't know if you want to talk about that. Your experience, the cult you grew up in.
Oh yeah. We were just, busted right into it. Yeah, so the way I was taught this version of, although I was having him in this gonna negate some things on YouTube.
Oh.
Some rules.
Having children in the video?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. There's no one watching anyway.
He's technically a baby, so does that count?
We don't have any fans or followers, so it doesn't matter.
Who cares? Okay. Um, so, so yeah, let's see, where was I? Way I was raised. Yes, this whole idea of the headship, the husband leading his family, that kind of thing, was a little bit twisted, in the culture when I was growing up. And it was this idea that, I don't know, there's this image going around where it was there's an umbrella and the husband is over the whole house. Well, there's an umbrella over him and it's God, and then there's the husband, and then underneath his umbrella is the woman, the wife with the children. Um, and
Which
so
is kind of an accurate picture.
it is an accurate picture. However, it was taken, at least in the household that I was raised in, to be that the man's over everything and his authority is the end all be
right.
all.
So basically, the leading meant the husband gets what he wants over
His way or the highway.
Yeah, he gets first. Everyone else comes second.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be reversed, the other way around, where the kind of leadership is the Bible is talking about with the husband being the head of the home, is that it's supposed to be a servant leadership. That's what Jesus demonstrated. So that means you're in charge so that you can be the last. So you're the first sufferer. In other words, so job is to make sure everyone else's needs are met first, and you make the decisions based on what's best for everyone else, not what's best for you as the husband and father. And so that's what that's talking about. That's what biblical headship means when the wife submits to the husband.
Right.
But it's also not egalitarianism. It's also what's currently politically correct and currently the norm.
That's because it's becoming increasingly more popular, and especially in Christian
all kinds of
yeah.
It's a whole
other topic. We'll get to that anyway. So yeah, so how do you say how do you lead us?
Well, I guess you're grading me, right? So.
That's right. So let's see, leading, protecting, and providing. That's a debate. Yeah. Well, I would say it's not in the traditional sense that people think it is. Also, like leading the family, there's layers to this. You make decisions on, what we teach our children. Now, yeah, we make these decisions together, but if we disagree, then you're the one that makes the final decision. Hardly ever disagree. And usually it's when you have to, I don't know.
Most of the time, I feel like if I'm wrong, it shows up in the past, like, you don't want to do something or you shouldn't do something, but you can't make up your mind, so then I just have to step in and say,
yeah,
you can't go to this.
Yeah, indecision. Indecision. Yeah, indecision is a very feminine trait, which can be. I don't know.
So mostly shows up as just helping you make up your mind.
Not to say that I don't have a strong mind. It's just
no. These are like difficult situations.
Yeah,
it's like not easy.
Yeah, I need help weighing the cost and benefit.
Buy best paper towels in town or best paper towels around.
See, I think people automatically think that's the extreme that it goes to. It's like, no, I can make a decision on
how to buy the best paper towels around, and that's final.
Honey, which toilet paper do you think we should buy? No, it's not that extreme. obviously I know which one you would prefer, but that's because we've discussed, ahead of time,
What,
how
paper
we
towels?
not the paper not paper towels. No, that leads into money, finances. We
Hmm.
buy the type of paper towels based on, our
I don't
finances.
remember any discussion on paper towels.
No, I'm saying I don't even know where I'm at in this anymore. Why are we talking
No, you're supposed to be grading them.
What kind of grading system are we using? Is this a letter
Yeah, I
between 1
guess
and
so. I guess a letter
10 out of
grade.
100
This
or,
typically grades our letters.
I didn't go to school, so Um, am I grading you line by line or the whole thing? Like how
Yeah, I thought we were doing line by line.
line by
On
we're
each
doing line by line,
okay, I don't
okay.
know. We'll discuss it.
We didn't discuss this one.
Poor leadership.
Alright, I give you an F then.
Feeling my grades slipping away.
Is this something lower than an F?
F minus in E.
Minus. Um, okay, let's see.
So I just move on.
Well, no, I still had things to say about this.
Okay.
I just got stuck on the leadership. What a creep. To protect. This I think people misunderstand protection. It's not just I've heard some people say it's, protecting us from, like, physical danger, which, yeah, that's part of it. But there's also spiritual danger. There's danger of people who relationships that could pose a threat to the family. So I don't know much more to talk about how that's been a more recent thing. I don't know. Were we talking about that at all?
It's a whole other video.
It's a whole other video, and it's a very big topic. We'll just move on from that for now. Anyway, and then yeah, protecting emotionally, I would say, and also providing. And the providing isn't just finances either. That's providing safety, emotional security, spiritual safety, spiritual security. All like I said, it's all layered. And I think people make the mistake of thinking it's just this one thing, like, oh, the man's gonna provide financial stuff. So that's why, I don't know.
All right. What's my grade on that?
Our finances are not that great. That's why I say that there's layers to this, and it's not just that is an indicator of how well you are providing, because it says in the fear of the Lord, because obviously there's other things you have to provide.
Right. That's all it means. That also means you're doing that in consideration. You're doing it under with God in mind, basically. You're
right,
because that's your role, and it's not like you're doing it for yourself, but doing it unto God.
Right.
Because
yeah. So I would say you're doing an A plus.
A plus.
A plus in that.
Good job. I told you today. Very good. Very obedient. So the next one is I vow to love you as my wife, even as Christ also loved the church. This is kind of what we had talked about before. To lay down my life for you, to wash you with the water of the word. That's also very politically incorrect, but that's in the Bible. To love you as my own body and to nourish and cherish you even as the Lord does the church.
So we're going to stop right there. Just because there's a whole other thing there.
Trying to go
yeah. So
sentence.
So I have heard a lot of people who do not like this passage because they think it's taken as the husband is treating his wife as a child. And I think if you think of it in that way, then you are missing the point. And you are also missing out on something that is very precious and helpful. Because as like this has been as you're reading it, I started tearing up. Because this has been something that you've done like if I could give you an A++, then I would say that you've outdone yourself in this area simply because like Oh boy, this is going back to stuff that I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about today.
What does your heart tell you?
We know the heart is wicked and deceitful. not to listen to the heart.
Every Disney movie for the last 40 years has been wrong.
Okay, I'll just say it. I wasn't loved. All right. In the sense, yeah, that's why I said I wasn't sure if we were going there or not, but I think
Meaning growing up as a child.
Yes, growing up as a child wasn't loved and with the true sense of love. I was loved in a version of love.
Right.
Not
the way people think of love today is basically affection. But the biblical sense of love is actually willing the good of someone. So for example, like if your child wants candy all day, every day for a meal, right? The modern sense of love would be, well, you just give them the candy because it makes them happy, right? Right? You see that all the time. You see it everywhere. It's like, if someone's not going to make you happy, then they don't love you or something.
Right.
It's about happiness.
Happiness is a barometer for love, and that is so false.
But if you do that, then your child's going to get very sick and have many deleterious effects. So that's not loving. So the loving thing would to be withhold the candy from them. And so that's what our culture doesn't understand. What real love is it's actually willing the good of someone, not just doing what makes them happy, right? The whole love wins motto that people repeat. Well, it's not love, and it doesn't work out for people. So
no, it doesn't.
That's a whole other topic too. But anyway,
so many other topics.
So that's what you mean.
Yes, in that sense. So when we got married, and actually when we were engaged, you started loving on me and showing love, and just I don't know how to describe it, because we weren't. It's not like I don't mean like physical affection. I mean in the sense that the way you treated me and the way you cared for things, because I was traumatized as a child. And you recognized it and pointed it out, because I still didn't even see it and I didn't notice it. So
you told me what happened in childhood, and I was the first one to tell you, like, you were abused.
That was messed up, and you're like, how are you not more messed up? I'm like, I don't know, I guess I'm fine. And I was like, took it to the prideful route, and I was like, oh, I'm just special. It's not the case whatsoever. And so because of that trauma, there were things about me that were very broken. And so like that whole washing you with the water of the word and loving you as your own body and nourishing and cherishing, like I've definitely felt nourished and cherished. And right, when you say washing you with the water of the word, like what are you washing? What do you typically wash off? You wash off dirt, right? So that's what I've felt, like not felt, like I've known you've done that for me. And that's why I was tearing up. Because it's like, I think I've talked about this to you
right? Yeah,
quite a bit.
That fact also plays into the whole leadership thing. So the husband's also supposed to be the spiritual leader.
Right. And so bringing, washing you with the water of the word can also mean pouring truth over you, and not just any truth, the truth, God's truth. And that's what you've done as I've had walked through my mess. I'll leave it there. And so, yeah, in that sense, I would say you've got an E++.
Okay. So I can do something, right?
Because I don't know. I think we can both agree that I'm a much healthier person.
So
6 years ago.
Yeah. So how is that not offensive though? Right? Why is it the husband has to wash the wife with the word?
So I guess some people have I don't know. The article I read from Sheila was that it is translated and seen as treating the wife as a child. She's on the same level as the children.
So
And that
obviously
falls-
she doesn't like the verse because she's not a Christian.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, she's Mormon or something, right?
I don't know. I haven't actually discovered that specifically. She doesn't say what she is. So yeah, a lot. I guess I don't know. I don't know why that. I'd have to go find the article and understand why that was, because the scripture verse itself seems to be.
So I guess what's your take on why do you think that's instruction is given there? It's not. Is it belittling? Is it demeaning?
No, I would say it puts a lot more weight on the husband, and I would say that it brings honor to the wife, because he's given specific instructions on how to treat the wife. Nourishing and cherishing, those are soft.
What if the wife
tenderizing.
is more
Not tenderizing.
What?
I'm a piece of meat here.
A SpongeBob reference. So what if the wife like reads her Bible more and knows more scripture and is more spiritually fluent than the husband? Then what? Or should not that be the case with the husband?
Well, yeah, obviously the husband should be more versed, but I think that because women tend to be more spiritually minded.
So I guess how would you define what does that mean?
What does what mean specifically?
Wash you with the water of the word.
Well, when I say something or do something that does not line up with scripture, you dump water on me. You dump scripture on me.
You get dumped with water.
It's like when I was saying things, I felt so ugly because of everything I'd been through. You reminded me, no, you're created in the image of God. I didn't feel valued, right? I was like, I don't feel like I have value. You're like, no, you have value. You're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Reminding of the truth of scripture.
So yeah, reminding of the truth of scripture. And then, I don't know, I think it can also mean to lovingly correct me when I'm wrong about something. And I think that's what it is, the correction, correcting your wife. I think if I remember.
So, but the wife can't correct the husband?
Well, not in the culture I was raised in.
Well, I'm talking about scripturally.
Scripturally. I think yes. I would say yes.
Anyway.
There's a time and a place for that, and there's a way to do that.
Probably a separate video too. Guess we should
Yeah.
All right, so the next line is to render unto you the affection due you, knowing that I do not have authority over my own body. Oh, that's also very politically incorrect. But you do to dwell with you according to knowledge, giving honor unto you as unto a weaker vessel. That's kind of a separate thing.
Mm-hmm. So, to render unto you the affection due you. I'll give you a B. Just because I want more hugs.
Okay, yeah, I could do better. The hugs.
But yeah, I have access. And that's a thing. Like, people hear the submission and think it's only the, like, submit your bodies one to another. Like, there's that passage in 1 Corinthians 5. Talks about that.
The 1 Corinthians 7 that's referenced here?
Or is it 7? Is it?
I think it's
1 Corinthians 7. Sorry. I don't know why I was saying 5. That's another passage.
Right, yeah, you have the whole consent culture thing now.
Right.
And, well, if you get married and your body doesn't like, it's not your body anymore, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to your spouse.
Well, see, people don't like that. People say that you still have to consent even after you've gotten married.
Which obviously we're only talking to Christians, because obviously non-Christians wouldn't believe that, which is fine, because any of this. But for other, Christians don't even acknowledge this. So
no, and I think it's because people are afraid. People don't.
Then you shouldn't be getting married.
They're still afraid to trust, and I think it's you're dealing with broken people, because people who are afraid to trust are. I mean, there were certain aspects that I was afraid to trust you with that I didn't even know until later on, like negative emotions, which sounds stupid, but if you knew what I came out of, you'd understand. So let's see. What line were we? Okay, yeah, I already gave you my grade for that.
So there's the weaker vessel thing.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's very
To dwell with you according to knowledge,
not
giving honor unto you as unto a weaker vessel, and living together with you as heirs together of the grace of life. I think you have to include that all together, right?
right. So yeah, so weaker doesn't mean less than, but
No. No, that's why no one likes this.
right. But that's what you
Everyone
see to the
hates
whole.
that.
I'm almost going to use ban, but the whole trans movement, right? It's
Transformers movement.
saying there's no difference between men and women, but then you have feminism saying women are just as good as men and stuff. So it's like the whole focus is on like women can do everything men can do instead of focusing on the things that
Wrong.
women can do that men can't do. Stuff. But obviously it's biological fact that men are like better at sports than women, so that's why it's not fair to have
I mean, look
biological
at
men and women's sports.
Thomas. Or whatever his name was originally. I don't remember his name. Anyway.
So because you're the weaker vessel, I have to give special honor unto you, not
Yeah,
treat
and
you in a demeaning way or that you're lesser than.
No, it has nothing to do
Because,
with
like
being
the next
weak.
line says, we're co-heirs together in the grace of life, so we both have equal value.
But I also think that people don't want to admit that women are weak. Okay? We're weak. All right? We're meant to be weaker. We're meant to be softer. That's why we need protection. That's why we need, to be provided for. And that isn't to say that other people are in different
Right, there's
situations.
advantages to that. Because women are weaker and softer,
right,
and more emotional, that comes with advantages that men don't have.
Mm-hmm,
comes with weaknesses, but also comes with advantages.
Yeah, why is it that women and children are the first off the boat?
I was saying more so. Well, that's because that would be like giving honor. But I'm saying more so those natures, those characteristics have benefits. Not just that society treats women differently.
Right.
Which society probably wouldn't do that today.
No, because women have made it very, especially in Western. I mean, not all across, not in every part of the world, obviously, because every culture is different. But in Western culture, women have made it very clear that they are not weak. I am woman, hear me roar. You have the whole boss babe type thing, but then you're also now seeing women who are going back to the trad wife movement, where they're like, no, we don't want to be in the workforce anymore. We'd rather stay home and just be wives, and just want to be married and have our husbands take care of us.
Right. And like, I don't really even like that terminology, just because it's like when I hear someone say like, I don't want to be just a wife and mother, I want to do something else. But I'm hearing them actually say is, I want to be less than that. I want to go do something else that's less important.
Right, because we misunderstand. There's a lack of education on how important honestly being a woman is, like being a true woman. Like I don't mean just the gender. I mean like what a woman actually is meant to be. And for the life of them, most movies and books, cultural stuff today has no idea what that looks like. They're trying to make these women, and they either turn out super wimpy or so hard. And right, we have to make women amazing. We have to make women so amazing that they can do whatever they want. Looking at Rey from
basically
Star Wars, like
it's just trying to make women like men, and they're not going to be as good at men as men are at being men.
No, but if you say that, then shame on you. you're an anti-feminist at that point. You are a woman hater. But there is something beautiful about stepping into, and something very powerful. This is the whole episode on its own, about stepping into what it actually means to be a woman and being that wife and that mother, because it is so important. And if you look at the stats on what happens when a mom isn't present in the home, it's really dark and it's really shocking to understand how vital. Like we always hear,
even the mother can be. Is it true that even the mother can be in the home, but if she's checked out,
yes,
not present, not involved,
yes,
then it still has the same negative effects.
Yes, the woman has to be engaged with the child, with the children. I mean, like, essentially that would be like, you have this person here who's supposed to be taking care of you, yet they're ignoring you. and they're not paying any attention to you. And if you're going to have your children in the home, then you're responsible for the social development of that child. And people think socializing means sending your kid to daycare or to some preschool or whatever and get them socialized with other 2-year-olds. No, this has gone on for a whole other tangent. But what socializing your child means is you as the parent, and this is helpful if both parents can do this, are teaching your child social skills, how to behave as a decent human being. Because I think anyone who's had a toddler knows they're like little criminals. They can be nice one second and punch you in the face the next because they don't know. They will do whatever. So anyway, so yeah, little toddlers. I've seen so many people talk about how they're like, my toddler is abusive, speaking hatefully to me, and they don't know. You want to hate on the kid. You're like, oh, this kid is so horrible, but hey, it's your responsibility as a parent to make the kid socially acceptable. I like what Jordan Peterson has to say about this. He says, if you can get them socially acceptable by the age of 4, then they have a pretty good start in life. But if you don't like your kid, like if they have socially unacceptable
some of the best parenting advice
skills
from Jordan Peterson was don't let your children do anything that will make you dislike them.
Yeah.
Right. And on the surface, right, that sounds bad. So it's like, be selfish. Don't let your children do anything that annoys you or something that you personally don't like. But no, what he's saying is if they're behaving in a way that is repulsive to you, then it's probably going to be repulsive to other people, meaning they're probably behaving in a bad way that other people aren't going to like. That's not they're behaving in a bad way, in other words.
Yeah. For example, if your child whines for everything, it's going to like your kid.
Right, but it's so easy to tolerate that because it takes work to intervene, and we don't always do the best job because you're tired, right? It's easy to just give in.
Mm-hmm. It is so easy. It's hard.
But then you're just rewarding that behavior that's making you dislike them, and that's why parents that's why we get weird looks for having 4 kids, and people are like, oh, I couldn't do that, and why would you want to have? Why would you want to have children? Because everyone thinks having children is so awful.
It's not though.
But it's only if you don't raise them the right way.
Right. If you're not actually, you're sacrificing a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also gaining so much more. Which I feel like
it's way more fulfilling. Way more fulfilling than anything else. But anyway,
this conversation going to happen with my vows because we specifically mentioned children in my vows.
I guess we should move on.
Yeah. Did I grade you on that? Giving honor
as a weaker vessel.
What do you think it means to dwell with you according to knowledge? How are you a dwelling?
In the context, knowing that I do not have authority over my own body, but you do, to dwell with you according to knowledge. I'm not sure if that means like according to this knowledge.
Or you know me as a woman.
Like, to render the effect. So I guess maybe not being incompetent, not being ignorant
about the ways of women.
Right, that's not an excuse, I guess. It was, because we should know our own vows better.
I'm like, I don't even know what this means. What do you think this means?
I feel like taking in the whole context is to dwell with you according to this knowledge that you need affection. That I don't have authority over my own body, but you do. So then moving on, it says, you alone will be my delight as the wife of my youth. I will fight for you, for our sons, for our daughters, and for our household. And then this one's pretty crazy. The Lord do to me and more also, if anything but death parts you. Me, basically, God should strike us down and kill us if we get divorced.
Put that in our vows, baby.
And then basically typical marriage vows, but I think using better terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Basically sticking by each other no matter what happens, ups and downs. That's it.
I think that means where are the ups? Overall, I would give you an A+ on upholding your vows.
So I just need to give more
because you fight for us. You fight for me. You fought so hard for me.
Texting Joseph.
Ah.
Shout out to Joseph. So cool. So bunch of A's, an F, maybe an E, and a B.
Where are you getting the E and the F? You're putting
I
words
don't
in my
remember.
mouth.
I know it came up at one point.
I was joking.
Okay.
I was joking about that. I wasn't serious about that.
Right.
So I said the lowest you got was a B.
Okay.
It's because I need more hugs.
Good thing I don't have Asian parents.
Emotional damage.
Shout out to Stephen Heat.
Okay, so I actually need that paper.
Oh, okay. It has
it has the beginning.
Oh, all right. Print it on the top of here. I was like,
dwell with me with knowledge, okay?
I need more knowledge. I'm knowledge deficient.
Okay, so mine. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Oh man, I love my vows so much.
Already 45 minutes in.
I know, it's crazy. Whatever. So mine would say, I, Haley, covenant before God and man to you, Reagan, to be your loyal wife and to submit myself under your headship, just as
What I say, woman?
just as the church
because it's true.
is subject to Christ, so I will be to. Oh, I'm supposed to read this. I was gonna read this all the way through, so like context.
Right. Sorry, I should stop interrupting.
I forgot to.
So woo.
All right, so to be a loyal wife and to submit myself under your headship, just as the church is subject to Christ, so I will be to you in everything. I will live first unto our God and then unto you, loving you, caring for you, obeying you, and ever seeking to please you as my earthly Lord. I will be your discreet, chaste keeper at home, diligently, industriously, and faithfully caring for the affairs of your household, so that your heart may always safely trust in me. If the Lord chooses to so bless us, it will be my delight to be your fruitful bearer of children, and I will help you diligently teach them the commandments of the Lord as we talk of them in our house, as we walk by the way, when we lie down and when we rise up. Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me. I will be yours in time of plenty, and in times of want, in times of sickness, and in times of health, in times of joy, and in times of sorrow, in times of failure, and in times of triumph. I pledge to you my life as an obedient and faithful wife. Okay, so first line, to be your loyal wife. All right, so I think we've already covered the covenant thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in here for the long haul.
So submission.
So to be your loyal wife
out of the gate.
and to submit myself under your headship, just as the church is subject to Christ, so I will be to you in everything.
Right. And that's straight out of the Bible. So everything in these vows are just like
it's a scripture verse. Yeah, it's just scripture verses. All right, your turn to talk.
Look, I've been talking.
Well, how am I doing?
Well, first we have to define what that means, right?
Yeah,
so
what
does
this mean? What does this mean?
What does it mean to you? So you're the one that has to do it. How have you been doing it? How have you been carrying that out?
Have I been carrying that out? Oh, that's not that hard. I guess just surrendering, whatever will I have to your leadership, right? So if I want to do something, say I want to do something, and before I just, blaze on ahead, I'll ask you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, should we do this? Or should we take this trip?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I do the same thing for you, just because I value your opinion and your wisdom.
Right. And I'm also the one that mainly takes care of the children, so I can know what is feasible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think the where is that in your vows? Something about honor. Giving honor
unto you as unto the weaker vessel,
and living together with you as heirs together, the grace of life. So I think that's kind of, but also that's a version of you leading also. Because, right, leadership isn't just you blindly making a decision. Like if a king is going to rule his country,
right,
he's going to need to know what's going on.
the big thing with submission is a lot of people think it's like some kind of tyrannical top down, you being forced to do something you don't want to do. But
that's the funny thing about submission. True submission cannot be forced.
Right. That's coercion. Then that's not submission is voluntary.
Right.
So like a lot of times I might, well, not a lot of times, but a few times I'll tell you to do something, but I don't make you do it. A lot of times. Not a lot of times. Not a lot of times, but sometimes. In the past,
I haven't done it.
More so in the past.
Sometimes I haven't. Yeah, I'll fully admit.
And a lot of times I don't say it like a command, though. It's just like, I don't think you should do this.
Okay, well, first off, going into this, here's what I thought submission was, because this is what I was raised to believe.
Yeah, start there. That's a good point.
I was under the impression that I was just going to do whatever Reagan wanted. Anytime, anywhere. And that my entire life was just...
Be a doormat.
Yeah, be a doormat. That's the perfect description. I was going to be a doormat, and I wasn't ever going to have to make a decision. He would make all the decisions for me, and I could, and I was happy with that. I was happy with that until one day.
Our head is a flower pot. It's a Holes reference.
Call my head a flower pot.
Well, that understanding, right? You don't have to have any intelligence at all. You just
there's
be a robot.
Washing of the dirt. You got it. So then he, you're like, no, I want you to make a decision. And it was the simplest thing. You just wanted me to pick a restaurant. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it is funny. It's super stupid. But like, it paralyzed me for a second. And there's layers to this, why it paralyzed me, because I was raised to believe that, you have to, the person in authority, you have to please them at all times. And if they're not happy.
It wasn't me. It was him. Blame the baby. I'm sure it's contained. I don't know if the microphone even picked that up.
He was sitting right there. Just in case. Yeah, just in case. Anyway, so yeah. He basically said, I want you to make a decision. I want you to pick a restaurant. And I was literally paralyzed. And I was like, give me a second. This is not what I thought I was signing up for. I need
You were wobbly today.
I need just in case you need that. I need a second to recalibrate, because I was like, oh snap, I have to make a decision. And then I was worried, I was gonna make the wrong decision. Like, is he not gonna like the decision I make? Like I said, there were layers to this as to why this was freaking me out. But yeah, it's super cute. Anyway.
She's trying to look around. It's a little wobbly.
It's a weeble wobble, but they don't fall down.
You want your mommy? So you trying to get back to mommy?
You're trying to get back to mommy. Huh? You just want mommy. Mm. Hi, little guy. What's happening? Oh, hello. Hi. Happy now?
She never did pick that restaurant, apparently.
I don't remember what the restaurant was. Anyway, yeah. So long story short, you were like, no, I want you to have opinions, and I
find your opinions and tell them to me.
I want you to tell me what you want, and so that was what I thought submission was. And then obviously there's been times where I haven't always liked the decision that was made, or I resisted and was like, no, I don't.
Any examples?
You didn't want me to go to LA.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to go
for a business trip. Yeah, business trip.
And you had this gut instinct that I shouldn't go, but
because you were pregnant.
Yeah, I was pregnant.
How many months pregnant? And your immune system's compromised. And
7 months pregnant.
Yeah, like your immune system's weakened when you're pregnant.
Or 5 months pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant.
And so traveling.
5 or 6 months pregnant. So We
But I
went.
didn't force you to not go.
No.
Maybe I should have. I didn't.
Yeah, maybe I should have. But anyway, so I didn't go, or I did go, and I ended up sick with the flu for a month. Really bad. Still feeling your diaper.
Sounds very liquidy.
Okay.
Because you're not eating solid food yet. 1 + 1 = 2.
Okay. So anyway, so yeah. So did we explain submission sufficiently?
I think so.
All right. So give me a grade.
It's gonna be hard not to give you an A+ on anything.
Okay. So now, well, I would say previously you could have given me a lower grade.
It's just, I don't know. I just feel like everyone like you have to like compare. I feel like what do you compare to? Because like compared to everything else, you're like expert at everything.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Laugh at that.
Right? Because no one else even understands submission or believes in it. You at least.
I think there has to be some people out there who do. They're just not on the internet.
I'll still give you an A. Then.
Or they're quiet. Give me an A. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I didn't get an A+.
You can always improve.
See, that's what I was thinking. Especially when I gave you the B.
Oh, you're probably better than me. You're probably better at submitting than I'm at leading.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, I don't know about that. Michael Scott.
All right. So then let's see. What's next? I will live first unto our God and then unto you, loving you, caring for you, obeying you, and ever seeking to please you as my earthly Lord.
Whoa. Earthly Lord. Obeying. Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with that.
Ever seeking to please you.
I feel like we tried that for each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that. It's mutual. But this was specific to my vows.
That's probably related to the whole submission thing we already kind of covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Right. So it's like,
well, I'm also caring for you, taking care of you.
So it's kind of like a marriage is kind of like a trust fall, but you're both trust falling at the same time, but also both catching at the same time. Because oh yeah, got a comment. Joseph says, if graded on a cultural curve, sounds like at least an A. Yeah, for sure.
I at least got an A. So at least it wasn't an A-.
Yeah.
At least I didn't get an
A-. But the whole obeying me, that is presupposing that I'm following my vows and accurately understanding leadership, meaning I'm only decisions I'm making aren't what I want or what's comfortable for me, what's best for you. So you submit to me so that I can do what's best for you. And the husband, the father is placed in that role. And we could go into why, but that's a whole video. But
yeah, it's another one.
So so then you have your breakdowns if one spouse isn't holding up their end.
Right.
But then you also can't say, well, I'm not going to hold up my end because they're not doing their job.
Right. No, I was going to say that. I was going to say, just because, like you said.
Right. So yeah, so many marriages have the like 50-50 idea where it's like you only give as much as you're getting and stuff. Whereas the idea should be like, your perspective as your role as whether you're a husband or a wife should be like 100 to 0. Really, you're going to just do the best you can no matter what. No matter what the other person does.
Right.
I guess that's hard. But so hopefully you're both giving 100, then and it's basically like heaven on earth. So I could say our marriage has been. So yeah, we can't relate to any of all the jokes and humor about how bad marriage is.
We've watched. We just recently watched one that was like common like marriage arguments. I was like,
you don't have any of these arguments.
Why are these arguments?
Yeah, we've never had a fight. We don't have all the cliche issues. So. It's working out so far.
Okay, so in that part, did you already say your grade for that?
An A.
Okay.
I was just gonna say A for everything.
I'm gonna get no A.
Spoiler.
Although I feel like this next line might get less than an A.
I also give an
A. Okay, well, just read it so I know.
So I will be your discreet, chaste keeper at home, diligently and industrially and faithfully caring for the affairs of your household, so that your heart may always safely trust in you. Or in me.
Because I feel like I deserve a lower grade because the house is a complete Disaster, right?
Well, that's hard when you have, right? Because I'm working so much, so I'm not really able to do much. And then we have 4 children, so
And Hurricane Halo.
yeah. And yeah, so it's I mean, you're doing the best you can, so that's all you can do. It's kind of
I know.
you can't really. There's no winning really right now.
Soon, hopefully soon.
So I mean, my heart definitely safely trusts in you. So, and then if the Lord chooses, I guess it's your vows. So I guess you should be.
So yeah, if the Lord chooses to so bless us, it will be my delight to be your fruitful bearer of children. And I will help you diligently teach them in the commandments of the Lord as we talk of them in our house, as we walk by the way, when we lie down and we rise up.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about both of us being home is we can just constantly teach our children and talk to them about God and spiritual things, and do a really good job with their emotions. And I think our children are very, emotionally intelligent. They consult whenever they have.
When your 15-month-old can go around saying, "I'm sad."
Well, yeah, or when they have fights, they will comfort each other. They'll work it out. Like, you hurt my feelings, and they'll be like, "Oh, sorry." And
you made me angry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And then they'll give each other hugs and kisses, and like we didn't have to intervene at all. They just sorted it out on their own. And they're
in the beginning we did.
Right in the beginning, but now that they're 5 and 3, they can sort it out.
And the 20-month-old, yeah, they'll.
Yeah.
If you're intentional, yeah, they can be a delight.
Yeah, doesn't mean they don't have their bad days, but they're still kids, right? They're kids, right? They're gonna have bad days. We're adults have bad days, so.
Right, that's the thing. See, yeah, and like from
right, and there's other factors like if you're hungry or tired or whatever, like right. That you as an adult, if you're hungry or tired, you're gonna behave more badly. So
I mean, we all use the term hangry for a
reason.
Right,
so we give ourselves an out, but we don't give children.
Right, we're like, oh, they should just
slack.
Be fine all the time. And see, that was definitely the way it was in the culture that I was raised in. It was like bad attitudes, negative emotions, those were not allowed. And if they were, then or just
50 whacks. I'm laughing because it's true.
Sadly. Anyway, moving on. There will be a time and a place to talk about that, but today is not that day. All right, wherever you go. Okay, so
except for wherever you go, I will go. Except for LA, apparently. But no, you went to LA. So I guess you were just fulfilling your vows.
Oh, wherever you go.
The next line, wherever you go, I will go. The whole Ruth. That's from Ruth.
Wherever you lodge, I will lodge.
Although she was saying that to her mother-in-law.
I know. I thought that was just a little like I thought about that after the fact. I was like, wait a second, but it was.
But obviously, right. I mean, because I had a really practical thing. Like when we got married, not a lot of people, some people were wanting me to go move to Indiana, where you lived, and like I was in college, I had a job, and like that makes no sense. Like the wife is supposed to come live with the husband, right? You didn't have a job or anything.
No, I didn't.
Cool. So it's like, so that you went and moved to where I was. So.
And I wanted to move to Florida.
So I wanted to experience new culture.
Okay. So yeah, your people shall be my people, your God my God.
Lord, that's why you should be spiritually compatible when you get married.
Yeah.
Have the same views.
Lord, do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me. I'll be yours in times of plenty and in times of want. Times of sickness and in times of health, in times of joy and in times of sorrow, times of failure and in times of triumph.
Definitely skewed towards the sorrow and failure.
And lots of sickness too.
Yes.
And the times of want.
All of that has been very heavily for 6.5 years. So hopefully we're about to be tested. We're about to have triumph and health and wealth.
And prosperity.
We'll see if our marriage can withstand those trying times. So yeah, we've been through a lot that a lot of people have gotten divorced over.
Oh my god.
Miscarriages, financial struggles,
all of my illnesses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lyme disease. A lot of people, their partners leave them.
Not just that, but when I was dealing with my trauma too.
But I feel like all those things just made us closer. Just actually helped our marriage.
Natural disasters.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, 2 hurricanes. Being displaced.
Anyway, so yeah, those are. So I pledge to you my life as an obedient and faithful wife.
Oh yes, last line. Yeah,
my line was different than yours. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I pledge him out to his loyal and faithful husband. So. Yeah, very controversial, very politically incorrect.
What's my overall grade?
An A+.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess you can leave your comments in the comments section, because that's where comments go. And if you vehemently disagree with anything, go ahead and let us know. And what do you think was the most controversial of everything that we talked about tonight? And
I also think this is a good, like, we've debated whether or not, like, how to start our live show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was brilliant of us to start off with our vows.
We're geniuses.
We're geniuses. No,
oh, usually on the praise.
It's more as an accident, or God inspired. I don't know, but these our marriage vows is basically the foundation from which we speak for basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
And our vows are based on the gospel, the true gospel, not the wishy-washy one out there in the world right now, the true gospel. And so yeah, I thought, as I was sitting here thinking about this, like, as we've been reading through this, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the foundation.
Right, we're definitely not perfect, even though we gave ourselves good grades, but you can always improve.
Right, but yeah, we can always improve. And yeah, there's been times where, you know, I've been selfish and I have been disobedient and I haven't submitted to you.
Yeah, I've definitely failed to all mine a time or two.
So yeah,
but that's the standard.
Perfect. So. But yeah, these are heavy, heavy vows.
So yeah, so this is what might become a regular thing. We'll see.
Hopefully.
So first, we're trying to kind of incorporate this into our music brand. Is kind of just talk about stuff that's important to us, and marriage is definitely something that's important to us. So we'll see what happens, but
family.
Hopefully we have some new music coming out soon as well. So stay tuned for that, and I guess we'll sign off.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.
And have a great day.